It's here.
Hello?
Have you checked the children?
They're all pods, all of them.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Gingy.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you. Gentlemen, I am pain.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face. The blackest eyes. The devil's eyes.
You think that when you die, you go to heaven. You come to us.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
I think he's in trouble.
Julie, this guy, if he can't take a joke, he stinks.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
Greetings, Flesh Wound Horror Freaks, and welcome to a brand new Vinegar Syndrome edition of Flesh Wound Horror. I am Daniel Shine, joined as always by Todd Too Sweet Lawyer. How goes it?
All goes well. I mean, you neglected to say episode 301 since we just had our big episode 300.
301. 300 is a very special episode, but 301 is just as special. So there you go. There you go. Yes, 301.
No special guests on this one, though.
No special guests. You don't get any cameos. You're stuck with us. That's
unfortunately, we couldn't get the job done and get Dan's hat removed or talk him into it. But well,
why would I do it? That's why people tune in.
Yeah, so tune in tomorrow if you didn't see all the shenanigans, or tune in tomorrow. Tune in yesterday. Jesus, I'm still a little hungover from the show last night, so let's get right into
straight edge, Todd. Don't just say no to that stuff.
Always.
That's what I'm saying. Got a straight edge. So anyways, I always look forward to the Vinegar Syndrome shows, and we have a few that I'm really excited about. Got a first, one that I hadn't watched in a long time. Interesting mix of films. All Blu-rays, just to throw it out there. And the first one from 1984, and the late, great director Larry Cohen, is Perfect Strangers. This one, Johnny, a mafia contract killer, has just completed his latest hit. However, as he's preparing to leave the scene of the crime, he notices that someone is watching. The witness turns out to be a young child, but Johnny is uncertain as to how much he's seen and how much he'll be able to describe. Proceeding cautiously, he begins a dangerous seduction of the child's single mother, but soon discovers that this budding affair puts both himself and his new lover in ever-increasing danger. A stylish neo-noir from acclaimed filmmaker Larry Cohen, Perfect Strangers is set in the neon-tinged grit and squalor of early 80s working-class New York and features a gripping performance from Anne Carlisle alongside Brad Rinn and Stephen Lack. Photographed by Paul Glickman and edited by Armand Leibowitz, Vinegar Syndrome presents this underseen thriller in a new 2K restoration and on Blu-ray for the first time ever. All right, so when you think of, well, first, just out of curiosity, what is your number one Larry Cohen movie? I don't know if we've talked.
Yeah, I love when you just throw things off the cusp, and
that's cool. It's a hard.
No, I gotta think about it a second. So, well, let's start. Do you know yours?
It's hard. I saw it very early, so I don't want to say it's his best film, but I think The Stuff was probably the first one I saw, and I really do love The Stuff.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm a big blaxploitation guy, so I love all of those films as well. Larry Cohen, number one, if you're unfamiliar with him, which some of you might be, I highly recommend the documentary, which is on Shudder right now. It gives you a nice little overview of his films and his life. He had a very unique way of doing things, and I've always just really admired him. Not one genre to himself, really. I mean, he did all sorts of stuff.
I'd agree. The Stuff is probably my favorite. Honorable mentions, of course, to It's Alive and God Told Me To. So,
yeah. See, I would say maybe God Told Me To might be his best film. It's very underrated. One I find a lot of people haven't seen, and you should. That's
Q's great. Q the Winged Serpent's great. Yeah. But there's something about the Stuff in the 80s, and it just is a really good film.
It is. Yeah, no, it definitely is. And
Return to Salem's Lot's another one I actually really enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot. I forgot he did that one. Yeah, he's one of the greats, one of the masters of horror, one of the last ones who just passed away not too long ago. So, anyways, Perfect Strangers. So this one he actually shot back to back with another movie, Special Effects, which is, if you've seen that, that's why a lot of familiar faces from those movies. This one is kind of a thriller, I guess you would describe it as. I enjoy it quite a bit. There's a really good ending, some twists and turns. I definitely a product of its time. There's some not so PC things, including a line by a kid that I thought was early on. It's not a horror film. Some people had a friend ask me about it today who hadn't seen it, and they were under that impression. Definitely in the thriller realm, but a very good script. Couple, there's a couple logic issues that I feel were there, but generally speaking, I enjoy this one quite a bit. I have some more to say, but Todd, what did you think about Perfect Strangers?
It's different than all the Coen's, a lot of the other Coen stuff. Doesn't rank high in my favorites of Coen stuff. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting film. It's very New York and very Coen, but yeah, I just didn't really connect with this one a whole bunch. Not that it was bad. It just, I don't know. See, I know you were saying you were expecting something else. I think, and this was my first time watching this one. So I don't know. From what I was hearing, I was expecting more erotic thriller, which isn't really what we got. So you can see why my disappointment was a little. But again, no fault of the film. It was a good film, just not what I was looking for.
Yeah, I can see, particularly with the cover art, how you might have gone there. It's one of my favorite things about Larry Cohen's movies is always watching the crowd scene. So it's just like, hey, grab that baby and just run with her.
You could totally tell all those stolen shots when she's
like what the. I wish there were some blooper somewhere of just like some big dude just like coming out and just like punching an actor in the face. It's amazing to me. I feel like somebody's running with the screaming kid now. That's not going to go over very well. I don't think you're going to get that shot.
In New York, it'll probably still go.
I can't be bothered with this. You calling New Yorkers assholes, Todd? That's kind of offensive.
No, they call themselves assholes. So I have no issues. I mean, LA are fucking assholes too. So they're just different kind of assholes. One bleaches theirs, and the other one, I don't know. I'm talking about California. Come on,
bleached.
Let's be real.
You do know you're living in California.
Yeah, home of the bleached asshole.
Who bleaches their asshole if you're not in porn?
Tons of people, Dan.
Todd, I'm not
going
to dig too deep here because I'm a little bit nervous that you have.
I did. Yeah,
the bleaching, whatever.
Well, Dan, in fucking Atlanta, no one gives a shit. It's Chocolate City.
Nobody's bleaching their asshole in Atlanta. I'd seriously doubt it.
Yeah. Well,
where the fuck do you go? Is there like bleach?
Okay, we need to.
All right, yes. Moving on.
This.
All right.
We can actually talk. Yeah, I don't know.
It's just
whatever.
friendly Bleach talk. But yeah, so Perfect Strangers. It's mid-level for him. Like I said, it's not at the top of my list of favorite films. I do like Anne Carlisle a lot from Liquid Sky, another film that Vinegar Syndrome put out just recently, a very oddball New York film itself. But this one held my interest, to be honest. It really did. I had a good time with it. I was engaged in the characters. It doesn't go exactly where you would think it would go, which I appreciated. And, you certainly were on edge with the kid, likable kid. He does. Larry Cohen really does. There's The Ambulance, which I think Scream Factory put out, or Shout Factory, if I'm not mistaken. Another very underrated Larry Cohen film that doesn't get as much attention as it deserves. But having said that, if you want a fun little thriller, again, it's not particularly scary. It does have some suspense that is going to hold your interest from beginning to end. I enjoyed this one, and I give this one a 3.5. What say you, Todd?
Not too far off. I'm a 3.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and I also want to throw out Stephen Lack, who I've actually met, really super nice guy, Scanners fame, who's also in the cast. And Ann Magnuson, you know what she did? You may not get this one unless you're thinking of the name. We talked about it recently. She narrated the Shock videos. OG HBO late night stuff as the best friend. So, all right. And on the extras front, there is an archival interview with Larry Cohen.
I was going to say it's an outtake from King Cohen. So, yes,
King Cohen, which is the doc. Watch that on Shudder, guys, or if you can't get the Blu-ray. It's Shadows in the City. He talks a little bit about, at this particular point, not wanting to do another special effects movie, which this is probably coming right off cue, I believe. Wanting something a little more simple. Talks a little bit about filming this back to back with special effects. Really good interview. There's also an 8-minute interview with Anne Carlisle, who played Sally. She talks a little bit about coming straight off Liquid Sky to this, the auditioning process, and how she sort of ended up leaving acting and being an art therapist. Nice little interview, good catch up with everybody. So there you go. Highly recommended Blu-ray, as always, from Vinegar Syndrome, and it also looks fantastic. That kind of goes without saying with Vinegar Syndrome, but it looks really good. All right. So moving on to our next film, which is one that I don't believe I'd ever seen before, and that is The 11th Commandment, which is a 1987 film from director Paul Leader. This one, Robert Knight has been committed to an insane asylum by his greedy and potentially murderous Uncle Charles as a means of depriving him of his rightful inheritance. But this time in the asylum has indeed turned Robert into a violent lunatic. Fashioning himself a priestly avenger due to his years at the seminary, after murdering a nurse and orderly, Robert escapes from the asylum and begins slashing his way through anyone who stands between his avenging the actions of his uncle. But Uncle Charles has some deadly tricks up his sleeve as well. A seedy and perverse slasher soap opera as only exploitation auteur Paul Leader and co-writer William Norton Sr. could achieve. 11th Commandment bounces between gratuitous stabbings and squabbling relatives. Starring Bernard White and Dick Sargent, Vinegar Syndrome brings this trashy rarity to Blu-ray for the first time, newly restored in 2K from its 35mm interpositive. All right, so a few things of note on this film. Not too long before James Avery on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, just I believe a couple years.
I was gonna say sitcom royalty between James Avery and Dick Sargent. So
okay, there you go. I didn't know if you were a Bewitched guy. I was getting there.
I figured you were. So getting my notes in before you can.
Dick Sargent, also Jennifer Rhodes. Everybody knows that name.
Second Darren, not first.
Second Darren. So not as important, you're saying.
I don't know. There's positives and negatives for both.
I'm an OG TV guy. I grew up on pretty much everything with my mom. So yeah, I definitely know Dick Sargent, and don't remember seeing him in a ton of films like this. I actually feel like he might have done one other, if I think of it all, in the horror genre, but it's not coming to me. Also, if we're known for a lot of things, but Jennifer Rhodes, if we're sticking to television, also, of course, on Charmed as well, which is kind of funny watching her kind of play the slutty motel owner in this one, a little against
He was in Teen Witch. I don't know if you want to count that one.
I guess I can kind of count. Sort of. That's another one that just came to Blue not too long ago. Or
like a couple of years ago, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I don't have it. I didn't remember. I still need that one.
You better get it before it's gone.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, that's true. That's on the OP list. Shit.
And that's Severn and MGM. I don't know how long their deal is.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. So anyways, 11th Commandment. So this one's a little hard to describe in a way. It is a slasher, but I feel like it does lean a little bit more on the soap opera, fighting family kind of elements a little bit more. One issue with this is it's kind of like the Mr. Rogers of slashers because this guy is just like so nice and never threatening. He's a good actor, actually. That guy's been in a lot of different stuff.
He's been in some Marvel stuff too of late.
Yeah, Bernard White. He really good actor, but something about the way this one was put together for me just doesn't quite work. And I mean, you could also, in a way, call it a revenge movie, but I'm not going to get into spoilers on this one because I don't think it's that relevant. But this is another film where I feel like there's a build to something that they kind of deny us in a way that I would have liked to have seen. The character is likable, so it holds your interest. It just doesn't. I feel like it doesn't quite deliver what it needed to. It's a very, like I said, it's a very low key pseudo slasher. It's one of those ones that I'm having a tough time like coming up with like a group to like recommend this one to, if you know what I mean. But what did you think, Todd?
I'm with you on this one. I like elements of it, but it doesn't really settle into what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It should have leaned one direction or another.
Mm-hmm.
After the opening, I was really excited, and I did not expect to where we went. And, it kind of goes family drama, this and that. So the fact that it was all over the place made it hard to really nail it down. And, well, I didn't hate it. It's not one I know who to recommend it to because it's so all over the place.
Would you have liked it more if it kind of became
be careful, Dan.
A buddy? Be careful. I'm not. Why do you always assume I'm going to say something bad? A buddy slasher flick with like Avery and him like just going around killing people.
Yeah.
We're never going to get it now, but I want the James Avery slasher flick now. That would be awesome. Imagine him like killing Carlton. I don't know how he would do it.
Wouldn't it be jazz? Why are you always bringing poor Carlton in? Do you not know all the characters?
I know Carlton. Alfonso Ribeiro.
I said jazz. It would make more sense jazz.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched it in a long time. Todd.
Apparently, it's also he was also Shredder, so there's that.
Okay.
And the voice of, not in the movie, Dan.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kevin Nash was Super Shredder, so I was like,
did I say Super Shredder? Calm down there.
That would be pretty funny though.
Always got to bring it back to your nerd stuff.
Alfonso Ribeiro.
Move along.
Kevin Nash is the same person. I don't know how that would work. All right, so yeah, this one is it's super rare. I've never seen it before. I can kind of see why this one probably didn't fully catch on. The acting's really good. It was funny if you're a fan of Jennifer Rhodes to see her kind of in a different light in her little role there. Dick Sargent isn't much of a villain. I wanted a little more with him, quite frankly. I feel like they probably didn't have a lot of time, to use him for this. Like I said, it's not bad, but if you're coming into this one hoping for some kind of like hardcore slasher, 80s slasher flick, it's not there. It's also a film. There's not the humor there either. So I feel like if you are looking for a slasher in any sense, even a cheesy slasher, this one's not going to be for you. It plays it straight, but it's not particularly scary, not particularly gory. Just, some people get stabbed pretty much. But it still held my interest. It's not a bad film. I just don't know who to kind of stamp it for. So for me, I'm still giving this one a 2.5. But yeah,
nailed it. I'm exact. I'm 2.5 on this one also.
Okay. Yeah. I did enjoy James Avery.
What about the extras?
And on the extras front, we have a lifetime of preparation, a 17-minute interview with Bernard White. Really good. I can't say he's like that guy, like the name, but then you see his face and look at his filmography, and he's done a hell of a lot of stuff. He talks a little bit about reading Hamlet and fashioning that after the Robert role. Talks a little bit about the mental hospital, which wasn't active at the time, but he did spend a lot of time there to kind of prep. This is actually a pretty fascinating interview, though, because his own mother actually went through electric shock therapy in the 60s. So she was probably one of the last to, go through that, because I think American Horror Story Asylum watchers know, I think it was mid 60s, late 60s, that they kind of reformed a lot of that. So it was kind of an emotional experience for him playing the role. Talks a little bit about James Avery and being friends with him. And also a movie I haven't seen, playing a mental patient again 25 years later with Zach Galifianakis, and It's Kind of a Funny Story. So I'm going to have to check that one out. Great actor. Just, again, this was just more of the movie, maybe not knowing what it totally wanted to be. We also get Through the Eyes of a Child, a 12-minute interview with Lauren Woodland, who played the young child in this film. She talks a little bit about getting into acting, her first Oscar Mayer Wiener commercial. Really good interview. She looks amazing. I enjoyed this one quite a bit, and the extras. The movie again was more interesting than than anything, but
yeah.
But yeah, this is actually one I'm curious if anybody does see it. Hit us up on social media. I'm curious to get your guys' take on it. There's been a few of these recently that I've seen where, yeah, it's just hard to say what it even is. But yeah. All right. So, and looks amazing as always. I don't believe this one's ever even been on DVD. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, at least stateside, this is another one that's quite rare, and that alone might be a reason for you to check it out. All right, so our main event of the evening, which is Flesh Wound After Dark. So if you do not want to hear about films of ill repute, then you should
Dan.
bow out now.
Dan's still gonna be good though.
I'm gonna be good-ish.
No, you're gonna be good, Dan. I'm not doing this again.
I promise. God damn, Todd. It's like, you behave. It's like,
Okay, not professional, Dan. Just
I know. I'm just saying. I'm a grown
no
man.
one just says something, Dan.
Don't be Ozzy. All right.
And for speaking of After Dark, if you want to see what's under that hat, you better check out yesterday's 300.
There you go. All right. So, our flesh.
Dude, look at him getting all flustered.
I know. I was just
there you go.
Getting him ready, doing a little tease. All right. Our film, The Naughty Victorians, from 1975, and director Robert Sickinger, which I've got to think, if that's the real name, like, kudos, that's a badass name. Sickinger, that's cool, especially making adult films. But anyways, Jack is a wealthy society man with a perverse secret. In the basement of his stately London home, he has constructed an elaborate series of contraptions which he uses to bind and have his way with unsuspecting young women. However, in excuse me, his first conquest, Alice, discovers that she enjoys her torments and soon becomes Jack's willing accomplice in luring other ladies into his house of forbidden pleasures. Adapted from the famed and anonymously authored Victorian novella The Way of a Man with a Maid, The Naughty Victorians was the filmmaking debut of acclaimed theater director Robert Sickinger, featuring elaborate production design and glossy cinematography by Joe Mangine, along with a cast including Sarah Nicholson, Susan Sloan, and Angel Barrett. Vinegar Syndrome presents this bawdy erotic comedy on Blu-ray, newly restored from its 35mm negative. So I will say, first and foremost, this film, if you've seen it in any other version, it's always looked like shit. And Vinegar Syndrome works their magic. This looks gorgeous. So, all right. So, first off, I want to point out most of this takes place in a single location, but nonetheless, they did a great job on costume design. And I think this is actually really well acted for an adult film. I thought everybody did a pretty good job, even with the accents. I'm not that I'm qualified to critique that, but they sounded pretty good. I feel like most modern day adult film actors probably couldn't pull off some of the stuff that they did in this. And all right, so this one, I actually really like this movie. I think some of the lines are just hilarious. Can never say this guy's name. Beer Bomb Trey, who plays Jack. Sorry if I'm not saying the name right. I thought he was really good with the comedy stuff. Mark Stevens actually doubled him for the sex scenes, which you can kind of tell at a certain point. This one, it's not wall-to-wall hardcore. I mean, it's definitely there, but it's
a movie first.
They kind of just get in and get out with some of the sexual stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is, definitely an adult movie, but just some of the lines, the Himalayas, which you'll get when you watch it, and then the naming of a certain body part. I had a lot of fun with this. The dialogue was priceless. It's kind of a light, funny BDSM adult movie it's like Downton Abbey with boobies, basically. I don't know. and other stuff that I'm sure is not in Downton Abbey. Todd, what did you think? Because I think we might disagree on this one. I don't know. I like it a lot. I had a blast.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it. I'll be honest. It may just be the era. I wanted a little bit more humor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. It for me it just it didn't work on. If it was just a movie, it wasn't working for me. If it was just an adult, it would. You know how I like a little bit of both. I like something I can watch it on its own, like especially from the golden era. I like I can watch it like, okay, if this didn't have the the porn sections, would it still be good? Or on the other end of the spectrum, I mean, is this hot? I mean, I guess would be the other way. And I kind of was in the middle on both, so it wasn't home run like I was hoping for.
No, see, that's interesting. I mean, I thought the women looked very attractive in this, but I actually like this one a lot. Is just taking the hardcore out of the equation. I thought it was hilarious. I really did. I was laughing my ass off at a lot of the stuff in this. Like I said, it's definitely BDSM heavy, but not really sadistic because it's all kind of so funny and goofy. And I've talked about this on the show before. I really do find I tend to really enjoy period piece adult fare. And we've certainly reviewed a lot of that from Vinegar Syndrome. This is not the best of their period piece adult films, but I still think it's a extremely strong entry. I really did. I think it's funny. I'm surprised this one didn't the same way, but anyways, to each their own. I loved it. I freaking loved it. And I give this one a 4 out of 5.
I'm a 2. It's slightly under average for me on this one.
That's cool. Maybe it was the ending.
No, but spoiler, there was a stun ass.
I kind of looked away, so I didn't even realize it was a stunt. I was just like, oh, okay.
I was actually tipped off before.
Oh, I'm trying to think who the hell else would have seen this.
Oh, well, in one of the groups.
Oh, okay. I was like, Ozzy. Is Ozzy like got a secret side to him or something? I don't know, maybe. Yeah, for what it's worth, I freaking love this one. And on the extras front, we get a commentary from author and professor Dr. Laura Helen Marks. Don't know if she's done one for Vinegar Syndrome yet. I feel like she might have. But this is very informative, like a very deep dive into this, because she has actually lectured about this movie. She wrote a book, which I don't have, but I'm actually going to pick up, called Alice in Pornoland. How can I resist? She's written a lot specifically about, adult films that have portrayed the Victorian era. So it sounds like a really good read. Talks a little bit about the novel, which was written in 1908, actually, so it's not really a Victorian era novel. She's interviewed some of the cast and the director, so she's got a lot of great information. The sexual devices in the movie were apparently actually functional, so that's pretty cool.
So if you have the schematics, let Dan know he would like to start his build.
I've got space. I've got the space. I might do that.
That combined with his Ted Bundy dildo. Oh my God, this guy's gonna be in heaven.
What the hell, Todd? That's messed up. That doesn't.
And if you want to learn more about the Ted Bundy dildo, make sure you're on our Patreon.
Yes, patreon.com/fleshwoundfeatures, where yes, there is a video on a Ted Bundy dildo.
And don't worry, it's not Dan demonstrating how to use it.
Shut up, Todd.
Promise.
God damn it. Anyways, ladies, get on us and tell us what you think about it, because I don't think it makes a lot of sense. You'll see what we mean if you watch the video. But anyways, yeah, support us. We appreciate it. So yeah, really informative commentary track. This is, kind of one of those films you really wouldn't expect to get much in the way of information, and she definitely provides it. So yeah, highly recommended Blu-ray.
And since we neglected to mention it, because at this point it goes without saying, all three of the transfers looked great. Dan did mention it on 11th Commandment, but just in general, all of them.
Yes.
So no complaints. Extras are great.
Yeah.
And I love Vinegar Syndrome doing stuff during COVID-19 and still making sure they're getting people, even if it's not. Oh, if it's like our quality, I guess. So,
yes. And like I said, if you have any previous version of Naughty Victorians, it looks like shit. So you will definitely want to upgrade to the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray. So yes, that's all we have for you. Be sure here on YouTube, since we're still new, like, share, and subscribe. It really
keep liking, keep subscribing, show your friends, tell your friends,
share,
get on the Patreon, do it all.
There's this great podcast where they talk about Ted Bundy dildos and movies and all sorts of cool stuff. Also,
and as we announced yesterday, we're starting another spin-off or another focus show, Flesh Wound Bazaar.
Flesh Wound Bazaar.
Yes. So if you didn't hear us talk about it yesterday, it's just going to be basically that's the one we can do whatever we want, whatever doesn't fit in it. If you didn't hear what we have planned in the future today, go back and listen to yesterday's. And if you haven't listened to our supersized episode 300, why not? You better finish this and go watch it.
I know. Maybe you're new. Maybe you don't know the history of Flesh Wound.
Maybe you saw Vinegar Syndrome episode and we're like, well, let's check it out. So
there you go.
Check out the other ones.
And if that doesn't get you, what? Just
all right, pimp out the Patreon, Dan.
Patreon.com/FleshWoundFeatures. It all starts at just $1. You get a lot of extra bullshit from us, some cool stuff. And
early episodes.
You can ask questions. We're shameless, so we will read them on the air. So, whatever. You want to know any details about Todd's sex life, you just go for it, and he has to answer.
Well,
$1.
That would be on Patreon, and too, my wife would have to okay it.
There you go. Yeah.
Unless if I take that out of the equation, I have no issues.
Well, she has to pay at least $1 to see it, so she wouldn't know. So okay. So there you go.
Good point.
So she's just gonna have to pay to yell at you. And we also are on Facebook, Horror Cartel, Flesh Wound Radio Group, and the Flesh Wound Features Facebook page. Be sure to join and like those. We appreciate it. Helps us. FleshWoundFeatures.com. Check out the stores on there. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Oh, Jesus. There goes the head. I'm just going to let Dan dance. This is ever going out tonight.
There you go. So I got to keep this up through the whole thing?
Yep.
That's about the only move I've got, so I've never done.
All right, I can't watch anymore.
Good night.